welcome to the 24th night of Ramadan program that we have here at Mass Queens. And inshallah today we have with us Sheikh IBRAHEEM AL-HOORI. But before we begin, we'll have a short recitation from Brother Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Muhammad. Now, inshallah, just a short introduction for Sheikh IBRAHEEM AL-HOORI. He's a young Imam and Da'i here in New York City, and he began by calling and giving da'wah to non-Muslims, and he's now a khatib in multiple masjids. In terms of his education, he holds an Arabic and Islamic Studies degree from Jabra College of Islamic Knowledge in Khartoum, Sudan. He's a student of Sheikh Abu Muhammad Abdul Rauf Shakir. He has a degree from Islamic University of Medina, Graduate College of Hadith Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He has an associate's degree in marketing, management, and sales. Graduated from New York City College of Technology in Brooklyn, and he is the current Imam of Masjid NYI CCI in Brooklyn, and he is a member of Masjid Ahl-Quran wa Sunnah in Ozone Park, Queens. So without further ado, inshallah, Sheikh IBRAHEEM.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وخاتم المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, it feels very good to be here right now. It's a different time, out of the usual, out of the norm that we congregate. Usually this time I go to sleep. I don't stay up very late. Right? After Isha I usually go to bed. But alhamdulillah, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and seeing all of my young brothers and sisters here gathered in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something that's pleasing to my heart. Especially in this blessed month of Ramadan, the greatest month of the year, in the greatest days and nights of the year, which is Al-Ashr al-Awakhir, the last 10 nights of Ramadan. And hopefully Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the barakah and the tawfiq to meet Laylatul Qadr. Allahumma ameen. I chose the topic of suhbah, which is companionship. Firstly, because of who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to youth, I'm speaking to shabab. And this topic of suhbah or companionship is something that is imperative for your success. All people's success, but especially yours because you're very impressionable. And the decisions you make now are going to affect the rest of your life and your akhirah. Decisions you make now and other decisions are the people you spend your time with. It's going to affect the rest of your life. Also, because we are in the month of Ramadan. And inshallah, most of you have raised in iman, right? And you have raised in taqwa. And you are on a different level of your religion. And you want to continue that for the rest of the year, inshallah. You want to continue that for the rest of your life. If you have people to aid you upon that, like you have here, all these brothers and sisters who are coming to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wanting to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do the right thing, aiding you upon good and pushing you away from evil. If you have people in your corner that you confide in, that you eat with, that you enjoy your time with, that you talk to, they're your friends, they're your companions. Inshallah, this newfound energy and this newfound iman, right? This newfound taqwa, right? They will aid you upon that for the rest of the year, right? But if you leave this setting, and you leave this environment, right? With this newfound iman and taqwa, and you have no one to aid you upon it, rather those people around you, they only call you to the things you used to do. Listen to the things you used to listen to. Look at the things you used to look at. Be in the places you used to be at that are all negative. All this iman, this taqwa, and this newfound energy of Islam will leave you immediately. And you will retract after all this hard work of Ramadan. So that's why I want to come here and just shed light on this topic of suhbah, of companionship, because it is imperative for the success of your religion. It's imperative. You cannot be, like I had a friend, he said, this is a figure of speech, you cannot be an angel amongst demons. You know what I'm saying? You cannot be a righteous amongst the fasiqeen. It's not going to work. Especially if you have a past and you used to be involved in this and used to be involved in that. And those people you're with, they're still doing those things you used to be involved in. It's not going to work. Rather, they're going to bring you back, and they're going to bring you back, and they're going to bring you back, and you say, SubhanAllah, look how far I went. Right? And there are two Arab sayings that I'm going to begin with. The first of them is As-Sahibu Sahib. As-Sahibu Sahib. Which means the companion is pulling you. Your companion is pulling you in their direction. Your companion is a good individual. A person who remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person who fears Allah, loves the sunnah of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, has modesty, has chastity, then that person will be pulling you in a good direction. If your companion is someone who is the opposite of that, a one who has disregard of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, cares less about the salah, cares less about the hijab, cares less about Islam, right? Is following their each and every desire that they want, that person is going to pull you in their direction, right? So as-sahib, you should remember this also. As-sahib sahib. The companion is ever pulling you in his direction. And also, this pulling, right, is something that goes unnoticed. It's something that goes unnoticed. We're not sure about it. We don't know. You hear that ringing, right?
Yeah.
I think it's because the mode of the microphone.
If you hold it further, does it help?
If I hold it further?
Is that better?
Maybe, I don't know. You let me know, inshallah.
I think that's a little
That's better?
Yeah.
Inshallah. So this pulling of your companion is something that goes unnoticed. It's something you don't know. You'll be with somebody, subhanAllah, and you'll be taking from them their tendencies and their characteristics. Even the way they speak, phrases that they say out their mouth, ways that they wear their clothing, places that they go, people that they listen to. You'll be taking from them, you don't even know it. Na'am. And this is another saying that we want to get to, is that at-tab'u sarraq. At-tab'u sarraq. That our natural dispositions, right? Our characteristics are constantly stealing from one another. If you have a child, right? I have 3 children, right? I have 3 kids, I have 3 small boys. May Allah bless them, right? I don't know, it doesn't seem like we have a crowd of mothers here, maybe a few, or fathers. You guys all look younger before marriage. Maybe a few of you are married. May Allah bless those who are married. And those who are not married, may Allah get you married to someone who is pleasing to you and give you righteous offspring. Allahumma ameen. When my son comes home, right? When my child comes home, and they say something out their mouth that I know they didn't find in this house, I say, who taught you that? Where did you get that from? Right? Where did you get that from? Because I know you didn't get it from this house. Right? They got it from where?
That's distracting. You want me to turn off the mic?
Turn it off? No, it's okay. It's okay. We need the microphone, inshallah. Where did you get that from? Someone in his school. He hears it in the playground. He hears it from some of the boys, so on and so forth. Right? He's getting it from someone. He's taking some tendencies. He's saying some phrases, moving a certain way. Right? Where did he get this from? He's taking it from his surroundings. Just like these children, we're the same way. This is human beings. For our characteristics are constantly stealing from one another. So if you want to be righteous, you must be around the righteous. Right? If you want to be righteous, if you want to be a good individual, you must be around good individuals. And we're going to say again, you cannot be an angel amongst demons. You're not going to be a righteous person across a bunch of sinners. Right? We all have sin, no one is perfect. But the point I'm trying to say is, you're not going to be able to be righteous and do the right thing around people who are not trying to. At least they have to be people who are trying to. Nobody's perfect, as they said, but they have to be people who at least acknowledge, I have a Lord, I should be worshiping Him, I should stay away. If we make mistakes, we repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have a duty to worship Him. He's commanded me to do things. He's prohibited me from things. You should be amongst people who keep this in mind at all times. Now, and this speech, or these two sayings, they coincide with the speech of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which he said, it's a famous hadith, that all of us probably heard before. He said, "Al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi falyanzur ahadukum man yukhalil." He said, the individual, the man, the woman will be upon the deen, will be upon the way of life of their close companion. So let every single one of you pay close attention whom they take as a close companion. We hear this hadith now. I want all of us to internalize the hadith and you think about who is your close circle. Who is your close circle? Who are the close people to you, right? Because that is who you are going to be, right? You don't tell me who you are. You don't have to tell anybody who you are. All they have to know is who are the people you sit with and who are the people who you hang out with on a consistent basis, and that will tell the reality of yourself. The individual is upon the way of life of their close companion, so that every single one of you pay close attention and take heed and make this something that is very important. Who am I going to take as close companions? Who am I going to take as friends? Who am I going to hang out with? Who am I going to text and message, eat with, so on and so forth? Because that is who I'm going to be. Yes, that is who I'm going to be. And that is the reality. That is the reality, right? That is the reality, right? Very rarely you find someone who is nothing like the people who they spend time with. That is rare. Rather, it's something that is not even found. You don't even find this. You can't find this. A person who is completely opposite from the people who they hang with all the time, they're not going to like to be with those people because we're completely different, right? The people they hang with, the likeness of them. They are comfortable with the likeness of them. If a person's soul is high, and a person's soul is lofty, and clean, and pure, how can they be at peace and at ease with filth? How? They're not going to be comfortable, correct? And the same goes for the one whose soul is filthy, and unpure, and filled with sin and corruption. How can they be comfortable with the righteous? It doesn't work. I remember years ago, I was in a barber shop, and there was a man, he was a famous rapper, who was even on the radio, right? He spoke about killing and guns and so on and so forth and drugs and all this stuff. This was his life, right? And I knew him personally. This is years ago, maybe 10 years ago, right? I knew him personally. The barber, he was a Muslim. And you know, sometimes, right, they have the adhan on the phone, right? Some people have the app, the adhan comes on. And this man, like I said, he was living a life of fornication and living a life of drugs and spreading that and so on and so forth. And he used to be in horrible places, nightclubs. I knew this person, right? When the adhan came on, he became afraid. SubhanAllah al-Azim. He became afraid, and he said, this sounds like the call of death. SubhanAllah al-Azim. And this was the adhan of Mecca, right? Such a beautiful adhan. When I hear the adhan, my heart yearns for Mecca and I want to cry, and so does all the believers. This man, because his heart and his soul was so surrounded with things that are low and in opposition to the deen of Allah, when he hears something pure, he can't be happy with it. Rather, his heart detested it. SubhanAllah al-Azim. So this is the reality. No one is going to be happy or be content or be comfortable with someone who is separate, different than them. So you have to ask yourself, you have to pay attention to who are your friends, because that is who you are. Now, next hadith we want to mention, another famous hadith, right? And we go back. So if your friends are positive, alhamdulillah. But if you have friends around you that are not positive, you need to start thinking. You need to start thinking twice, right? You need to start thinking twice, right? Because we come in this life by ourselves, and we'll meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by ourselves. And wallahi tallahi billahi, we'll read the ayah, Surah Abasa, يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ. The day that the individual will run away from his own brother. وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَبَنِيهِ. And he'll run away from his wife, his companion, and his children. وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ. And his mother and his father. That's serious day, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Right? So you say, my friend, but they're bad for you. They're calling you to something that's negative. They're harming you. They're harming your brain. They're harming your aqeedah, your belief. Right? They're pulling you in the wrong direction. You say, my friend, Yawm al-Qiyamah, a man will run away from his own daughter and son. Run away from his own mother and father. Run away from his own brother, his own sister. That's a serious Yawm al-Qiyamah. So you don't want no one to compromise your Yawm al-Qiyamah. Right? Now, so next hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, to make the example of the good friend and the bad friend. He said, مثل الجليس الصالح والسوء كحامل المسك وَنَافِخُ الْكِيرِ. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the example of the righteous companion and the bad companion is like the example of the one who sells oils. Who is that? That's the good companion or the bad companion? Who is that? The oil seller. Who is that? That's the good companion, right? The example of the good companion is the oil seller. He sells or she sells sweet smelling musk and oil, tib, right? And the example of the bad companion is the ironsmith, the ironsmith, right? He said, as far as the oil seller, right? This is the example. We're going to break it down what the Prophet ﷺ has said about the one who sells oils and how this is like the good friend. He said, as far as the oil seller, right? إِمَّا أَن يُحْذِيَكَ وَإِمَّا أَن تُبْتَاعَ مِنْهُ وَإِمَّا أَن تَجِدَ مِنْهُ رِيحًا طَيِّبًا. Three things you'll get from the good companion. He said, either he'll give you a scent for free. Maybe the girls don't know this, or maybe they do. I don't know what the girls do, but I know what men do. There's always someone who has some type of oil, or they have some type of cologne, and they say, here brother, here, take a little scent with you, right? Do they do that? Do you do that? Do girls do that? I don't know if girls do that. Men do that, right? You have a little oil bottle. I don't know if I have oil with me. Do I have oil? I should. The Prophet said I love oil. I should have. Yes, like this, right? Walk around something like this. You put some on, and then you go to your friend, you say, here, brother. You may not even know him, right? The rest of the day, how you smelling? Smelling good, right? And it was for free, right? You got to benefit from this individual just coming around them for a second, 2 seconds. 2 seconds, you get a nice smell. For the rest of the day, you're smelling good. This is the first example of the good companion. You come around them for just a moment. Lahza, just a moment. For the rest of the day, you're smelling good. Meaning, you get a benefit from them with just a quick meeting. That's the good friend. You come amongst them just for something short, a short period of time. You come in crossing. They give you salam, they give you a smile. You see them, they make you remember Allah. You know people like this? When you see the individual, they make you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't have to talk. You see them, you see the brightness of their face, right? You see the salah on them, the purity and righteousness, and you just remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They didn't have to speak, subhanAllah. This is what? Like the good companion. You come around them, the Prophet said, إِمَّا أَن يُحْدِيَكَ. Maybe he'll just give you a cent for free, and you go on your way, right? And next, right, the good companion, وَإِمَّا أَن تُبْتَاعَ مِنْهُ. And maybe you will purchase something from him. You'll purchase a cent from that individual. Now this right here, for me, this can last me maybe 7-8 months. This small thing, if I use it every day, it can last me 7-8 months. Small oil like this, right? The example here is a good friend, a good companion. You can take from them something, you purchase something, right? Look at the example the Prophet is making. You purchasing something from them is taking something from them that will remain with you for a long period of time. Yani. You will learn something from them, or you'll take a good characteristic from them that will benefit you for a long period of time, right? You get amongst somebody, for example, and they remind you of something that's beneficial, or they teach you something, or a way to live your life in some type of way, and you start to do it, and you start to apply it, and you do it for the rest of your life. Alhamdulillah, that individual has benefited you for the long term, right? This is good companionship. You sit with them, they teach you something, you see something they do, they teach you a way to get closer, whatever it may be. You get something from them that lasts with you for the long term. Alhamdulillah, that's a good companion. You can take something, get a long-lasting effect from it. Lastly, he said, وَإِمَّا أَن تَجِدَ مِنْهُ رِيحًا طَيِّبًا. And the least, it is not something small. The least that you will get from that good companion is that you will smell from them a sweet smelling scent. What does this mean? It means that from a good companion, you will not get any harm from them. They won't harm you in no type of way. The least, if you get nothing from them, at least you will get no harm from them. You only smell good. But as far as the ironsmith, the blacksmith, you get two things from that individual. إِمَّا أَن يُحْرِكَ ثِيَابَكَ وَإِمَّا أَن تَجِدَ مِنْهُ رِيحًا خَبِيثًا. There's only two things you're going to get from the bad friend. He said either you're going to get, this bad friend is going to burn you, subhanAllah. يُحْرِقَ ثِيَابَكَ. He's going to burn your clothing. She's going to burn your clothing. When you get burnt, may Allah protect us from being burnt in this life and hereafter. Allahumma ameen. Anyone who gets burnt, right? If they recover from it, right? They don't die, they recover from it, right? What happens to the person's skin? Huh? It never returns to normal. Look at this example the Prophet ﷺ has given us. It never returns to normal. That bad individual will scar you. They will scar you for the long term. They will teach you something that you begin to do and make it a bad habit in your life, and it will mess you up. SubhanAllah al-Azim. Wallahi, I know a young man, right? I think 11, 12 years old. And we all young people here, and excuse me, but this is the reality that many young people are going through right here, right? I know a young man who's 30 years old right now, 30. At 12 years old, he used to play football. And before football practice, he would meet up with one of his friends from the football team. They were 12, they were in 6th or 7th grade. He showed him pornography, right? Pornography. He showed him. He never saw it before. He was not open to it. He never saw it. It's something new to him. He saw it. He's 12 years old. You know, to this day, he still is addicted to it. 30 years old, right? How long is that? Almost 20 years, right? So that bad friend may teach you something, right? That may harm you for a long, long time. SubhanAllah. This is a true story. This person is 30 years old, still struggling with this addiction. That's almost 20 years. It's almost 2 decades. What happened? Someone who you think is your friend, he comes, shows you something innocently, it's a joke, it's funny, right? And you have been harmed. It's harmed his marriage, right? It's harmed his adulthood, it's harmed his confidence, it's harmed his deen, it's harmed his religion, right? It gives him low self-esteem, it makes him sad, it's messed up his heart, he gets angry out of times for no reason, right? Now, these are all these ill effects of this friend showing him something that was harmful for him, right? Now, so the bad companion, he might burn your clothing, she might burn your clothing, it may teach you something that is so harmful for you, and if you stop doing it, it's still what? It's going to give you these burn marks on you, right? Or the least you'll find from that individual when you come around them is a horrible stench, a horrible smell. They're going to harm you no matter what. Now, and I want to speak about, like I just gave a first-hand story of an individual who was afflicted from pornography for almost 20 years from having a friend, and they were in middle school. Can you imagine that? Right? And he's still afflicted, it's harmed him all this time, right? And I encourage my young brothers, and it's not only young brothers, also sisters, please try to stay away from this. Wallahi, it will harm you tremendously. It will harm you tremendously, so many ways, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Every aspect, this thing will harm you. And we know we're in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we don't want to speak words that are not good or appropriate, but wallahi, this is a big problem all over the world. Is that not correct? I remember a young man, he was a youth counselor, right? He counseled, he had a masjid here in New York, in Brooklyn. 40 boys he would counsel, he would talk to. 40, right? Arba'een. He asked 40 of them, all right, about this. He asked 40 of them about this pornography. You know how much of them said that they are afflicted by it? Some watch it all the time, some watch it sometimes, some watch it once or twice, whatever, different cases. You know how much of the 40? All 40. SubhanAllah. 100%. 100% of them. Ajib. SubhanAllah al-Azim. So if that's the case in a masjid here in Brooklyn, then what's the difference between all over the United States, all over the world? What makes them so bad, right? Everyone has the availability of it with their phone, right? And I know we get off the topic, but I just want to warn my brothers, please try to stay away by any way you can. My sisters also, some sisters are also afflicted with it. Try to stay away from it. If you keep falling into it, get off social media. If you have to get a flip phone for a time being, get the flip phone, cry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah will harm you, right? And if you're not married yet, it will harm you in your marriage as well. Many people are divorced because they cannot appreciate the real thing, because their mind has been just so fixated on this fake thing, right? So when they come to the real thing, having a real spouse, they don't know what to do, and they can't do it. You understand what I'm saying? So be careful, and you want good for your future. Try your best to stay away from that, inshallah, and Allah will heal you. Anyway, next story about bad companionship. I remember my first year of college. I played basketball in college, right? My first year, we had a power forward come. This guy was like 6'5", mashallah, big, strong. He was good in basketball. He was doing his thing, mashallah. Right? He comes to the school and he's getting playtime and everybody, mashallah, they say how good he is. He gets with a bad crowd. And these guys, they were older than him, and all they did besides basketball was get high. All they did besides basketball was get high. All they did was smoke. That's all they did. He got with these guys. He did not use to smoke before. He didn't use to get high. Right? He knew nothing about weed, marijuana. He got with them. He thought it was cool. He started smoking with them. Wallahi, he went downhill so fast. I never seen someone go downhill that fast. He went downhill so quickly. It was amazing. Right before my eyes. Right? This guy was starting, he was doing good, he was in shape. He started smoking with these guys, he starts missing practice. He starts missing school, right? He ends up failing every single class in his first semester. How can you fail every class? Not 1, 2, 3. Failing every single class, right? And he's going to school to play basketball, right? And he fails every class, and then also he starts missing practices and playing bad on the team. He's not even producing on the basketball team. What happened? He gets kicked out of the school. SubhanAllah. He gets kicked out of the school so fast. This happened in a course of maybe 5-6 months. He starts getting high, it takes over his life. He can't control himself. All his dreams, all his aspirations go out the window. He goes back home to live with his mother. SubhanAllah. That's it for him. Right? Bad decision, getting around bad people, and then he's done. A young woman, may Allah bless our sisters, she asked a question. She said, how do I begin to pray again? How do I begin to pray? How do I begin to make salah again? She said, I used to go to the masjid, I used to make salah, I used to wear my hijab, I used to read Quran, I was doing the right thing, I was doing good. Right? This is true. She said, I got with some companionship, some young girls, they were Muslim women, but they weren't making salah, they were not practicing Islam, right? They came from Muslim families, but they weren't practicing Islam, right? She says, slowly but surely, I stopped making the salah. Slowly but surely, I stopped praying. This is a girl who said she was mutadayyinah. She used to make 5 salawat, come to the masjid, read Quran. She got with some friends who did not make salah, right? She being with them, it's only so much you're going to be the one to say, it's time to pray, guys. Let me make my wudu. You have 5-6 people around you. You're going to be the only one that's going to pray every time? No, slowly you're going to fall off. So she starts to fall off. And then the shaitan comes to her, right? You're not making salah anyway. Why are you acting like you're a righteous woman? Why are you wearing this hijab? Why are you wearing this khimar? Why are you wearing this hijab? You're not even making salah. You tell the shaitan comes to you. You're doing something wrong, so alas, you can't look like you're righteous. Take the hijab off also. You see how the shaitan works, right? Step by step to break you down, to just take your deen from you. Step by step to take your deen from you. So then she goes from praying and wearing the hijab and comes to the masjid in Quran to not praying, and then she took off the hijab. Now she goes to the sheikh, what should I do? How can I come back? Wallahi, my brothers and sisters, this is how detrimental companionship is. They will wear on you. They will rub off on you. If you do not have good companionship, if you have bad companionship, they will negatively harm you, my brothers and sisters, and there's no way around it. There's no way around it. This is how Allah has made us. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us. And they will harm us in this life, and they will harm us in the hereafter as well. And we will regret that we ever spent time with them. I want to mention some ayat from the Quran, inshallah. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions how mankind will regret having bad companionship in this life, Yawm al-Qiyamah, when they see the reality of what will be in front of them from punishment. Allah said in Surah Al-Furqan, يَوْمَ يَعَبْدُ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي اتَّخَذْتُ مَعَ الرَّسُولِ سَبِيلًا يَا وَيْلَتَى لَيْتَنِي لَمْ أَتَّخِذْ فُلَانًا خَلِيلًا لَقَدْ أَضَلَّنِي عَنِ الذِّكْرِ بَعْدَ إِذْ جَاءَنِي وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِلْإِنسَانِ خَذُولًا. Allah says, the day that the wrongdoer will be so regretful that he will bite down on his own palm. يَوْمَ يَعَدُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ. He will be so regretful, she will be so regretful of what they did in this worldly life that they will bite down on their own palm and they will say, I wish I would have followed the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They say, I wish I would have followed the way of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I wish I would have followed the Sunnah. I wish I would have did the right thing. They will be regretful at the day of judgment. And then they will say, Ya waylata laytani, woe to me, in regret. This is regret and remorse. Woe to me. I wish, and listen to these words, I wish I would have never took so and so as a close friend. SubhanAllah. I wish, this is actually the Quran, this is the actual wording, right? Ya waylata laytani lam attakhidh fulanan khalila. Woe to me, I wish I never would have took so and so as a close friend. SubhanAllah. What does he say here? لقد أضلني عن الذكر بعد إذ جاءني وكان الشيطان إنسان خذولا. This individual who I wish I never would have took as a companion, they have led me astray from the dhikr. This is the exact words of the Quran. لقد أضلني. Surely this companion has led me astray from Allah's remembrance. I wish I never would have took them as a friend. They have led me astray. This person will say this in the hereafter, but it will not benefit them in no way. The remorse that we have and the regret we have in the hereafter won't benefit us. The only time it will benefit us is if we understand and actualize the wrong that we're doing or the wrong company that we're having and we change it now. Also another place in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Al-Baqarah, إِذْ تَبَرَّأَ الَّذِينَ اتُّبِعُوا مِنَ الَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوا وَرَأَوُا الْعَذَابَ وَتَقَطَّعَتْ بِهِمُ الْأَسْبَابُ وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوا لَوْ أَنَّ لَنَا كَرَّةً فنتبرأ منهم كما تبرأوا منا كذلك يريهم الله أعمالهم حسرات عليهم وما هم بخارجين من النار. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, the day when those who were followed, now look at this picture Allah paints for us. The day when those who were followed, meaning the leaders, people followed them, whoever they may be. But these were negative leaders. They weren't positive leaders, they were negative. Those who we follow, we love, and we put our heart into them, and we just are so crazy about these people, whoever they may be. He said that day when those leaders will separate themselves from those who used to follow them. Is تَبَرَّأَ الَّذِينَ اتُّبِعُوا مِنَ الَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوا. SubhanAllah. Those people who are following and they're leading the masses, they're leading the youth in the wrong direction, they're leading them to shahwat and desires and ma'asiyah, disobedience. All these leaders, the people we follow on YouTube, and we follow them on Instagram, we follow them on TikTok, all these evil people, wicked people, right? That's showing us all wicked and low things. That day, when they see the punishment, those who were followed, they will separate themselves from the people who followed them. Can you imagine that? Those people who you loved and you just desired them so much and you were crazy about them. The day of judgment, they say, get away from me. Can you imagine that? Get away from me. I don't want nothing to do with you. Right? Get away from me. Stay back. Right? When they see the punishments, they will say, get away from me. I want nothing to do with you. Right? And then those who followed the people, the wrong people, right? You had bad people you were following. Those who followed them, they would say, only if we had a karma, only if we had an opportunity to come back in this dunya, فَنَتَبَرَّأَ مِنْهُمْ كَمَا تَبَرَّأُوا مِنَّا. We will free ourselves from them like how they freed themselves from us. كَذَلِكَ يُرِيهِمُ اللَّهُ أَعْمَالُهُمْ حَسَرَاتٍ عَلَيْهِمْ. Just like that, Allah shows the people their deeds, and they will be in regret and remorse about them. وَمَا هُمْ بِخَارِجِينَ مِنَ النَّارِ. But that remorse and that regret will not take anyone out of the hellfire. May Allah protect us from the hellfire. Allahumma ameen. So this is a wake-up call for us. This is a wake-up call for us. Who are your friends? Who are your companions? Who are the people that you're following? Ask yourself. Your friends, your companion, also who you're following on your devices. Who are you listening to? Right? Who you following on Instagram? Who you're following on YouTube, TikTok, who you subscribe to. That's also important too. That's like your companion. Your phone is like your companion. And the people you spend a lot of time watching and listening to, don't think it's just entertainment. It's not just entertainment. Wallahi, you will start to act like these people. Wallahi, you will start to talk like these people. Wallahi, you will start to take these people's beliefs. Yeah. It's not just, oh, I'm just watching these people consistently. Just think about how much screen time you have and how much time you're watching these people on a daily basis. Maybe even more than your actual friends or your actual family. You're spending with your internet family and the people you follow. Yeah, they're gonna rub off on you. If they're not good, they're not righteous, then subhanallah al-azim, be careful. Right? Now, this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He commands us, as He is our Lord, and He knows our creation. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, ittaqullaha wa kunu ma'a as-sadiqin. Oh, you who believe, fear Allah, and Allah commands us, be with the truthful, righteous people. Allah commands us. Or you believe, fear Allah and be with the righteous people. Follow the righteous people. Be with the truthful, good people. Be with them. Allah commands us to do that. And the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also says, لا تصاحب إلا مؤمن ولا يأكل طعامك إلا تقي. لا تصاحب إلا مؤمن ولا يأكل طعامك إلا تقي. He says sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, do not be friends, do not make a companion of anyone except they are believers. Except they are believers. Don't make anyone your close companion except that they are believers. They will remind you of Allah Azza wa Jalla. They will remind you of your deen. They will remind you of your salah. They will remind you that Allah is seeing us and He's going to take us to account. They will raise you in iman, right? They will raise you in the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah tells us, or the Prophet tells us, do not make a companion except a believer. وَلَا يَأْكُلْ طَعَامَكْ إِلَّا تَقِي. And don't let anybody eat your food unless they are a God-fearing person. Does this mean we can't feed a person who's not Muslim? Is that what that means? لَا يَأْكُلْ طَعَامَكْ إِلَّا تَقِي. Don't let anyone eat your food unless they're a God-fearing person. Does that mean we can't feed anybody who's not Muslim or God-fearing? That's not what it means. This is an example. Because usually the people you eat with are who? Close people to you. The people you eat food with regularly, that's what? People you're close to, right? So the Prophet ﷺ said, don't let those people who are with you a lot and they are close to you, don't let there be anyone except they are God-fearing righteous person. Why? Because they will rub off on you. Do we get this point? You get this point? I want to close out with a story, quick story from the Quran about the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his companions. It came to him a group of the Quraysh. Came to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was a group of the Quraysh. And these were the leaders of the Quraysh. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his main concern was what? What did the Prophet want for the people? What do you want? What do you want, bro? Ask the question. My brother in the back with the hoodie. One who just came in. You're taking the attention from me, man. You want to give the lecture? What did the Prophet ﷺ want? For the people, for mankind. Yes, he wanted guidance for the people, right? The Prophet wanted guidance for mankind. So this group of leaders of the Quraysh, they came to him. And the Prophet ﷺ was so happy that they came, he's thinking he can give them da'wah now, right? But they had a request. They said, listen, we'll come talk to you, but Bilal al-Habashi, Suhaib al-Rumi, right? Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, the low of the companions, remove them, get them out of here. I don't want to be seen. You know, people that they look at themselves as lofty and high and prestigious. I don't want to be seen with people who are not of the same like of me, not of the same wealth and status of me. So yeah, we'll sit with you, Muhammad, but those, get rid of them, right? So it is said that possibly because the Prophet ﷺ wanted guidance for them, he was thinking about telling them to go away in the time that they came, right? Allah sent down Quran. Allah sent down Quran. He says, Surah Al-Kahf, we read it every Friday. واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه ولا تعد عيناك عنهم تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا واتبع هواه وكان أمره فرطا. Allah says to the Prophet ﷺ, be patient. واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم. Ya Muhammad, be patient. Be patient with those who are worshipping their Lord day in, day out, wanting Allah's pleasure. Allah commands the Prophet ﷺ, be patient with them. Be patient with Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Suhaib al-Rumi, Bilal al-Habashi, all these poor and weak and unwealthy of the Sahaba. Be with them. Don't leave them for nobody. Right? Don't leave them for nobody. Why? Because they're believers. They worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They obey Allah. They want Allah's Ridwan, they want Allah's pleasure, stay with them, right? So Allah commands the Prophet ﷺ with that. And then he says, وَلَا تُطِعْ مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبُ عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا. And do not obey the one who we have made them unmindful of our remembrance. Doesn't matter what they have in this dunya, doesn't matter how much money, how much power. If they're not worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah says don't obey them. Don't be amazed by them, no matter what they have. Don't obey them, don't go with them, don't run after them, and don't leave these people who worship Allah for those people, even though they have, right? They don't have much and they have a lot. Do not obey them, don't go to them. Now, yes. But this is the ayah and the verse that came down to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, commanding the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, be patient with those worshiping Allah and remembering Allah and have sincerity in worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and do not leave them for those, even they have wealth and they have status, they have money, don't leave them for those people who their hearts are unmindful of our remembrance, because they have nothing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كم من مجهول في الأرض معلوم في السماء. How many people are unknown in this world? Nobody knows them, but Allah knows them, and they're known in the heavens with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? This is the scale that we should judge people. We should not judge people based upon status, upon wealth, upon money. We judge people upon their deen, upon their character, upon their manners. Na'am. Right? Because this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala judges us. And this is imperative for the success of our religion. So inshallah, we finish there and we go back to the topic. And here in Ramadan, as we mentioned, all of you inshallah, you are raising in iman, right? You are raising in taqwa. If you want that to continue, make sure you surround yourself with righteous, good people, right? Make sure you surround yourself with righteous, good people who will aid you. And you look for people who are better than you. You deem this person to be better than me. That person has more knowledge. Therefore, I love her manners. I love his manners. Oh, this person has knowledge. This person is righteous. They are more God-fearing than me. You try to befriend that person, because why? They're going to benefit you. And you can become a better person just by hanging out with that individual. Now, subhanallah wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless the masjid. Allahumma ameen. May Allah bless the center. May Allah bless the idara, the management of the masjid, the imam. Allahumma ameen. May Allah bless the youth leaders for bringing me. I don't know their names except Marwan here. May Allah bless him. And our sister, did you say Khadija? May Allah bless our sister Khadija. And all the other brothers and sisters working with them, Allahumma ameen, and give you much more barakah in the end of this month, and allow you to benefit and accept all of your salah and your reading of Quran and all the things you did this month. Allahumma ameen. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh Ibrahim. We've had a lot of speakers here, but I think we can agree that was one of the best talks we've had. And may Allah allow us to understand and implement that knowledge, inshallah. And just a reminder that for the rest of the nights of Ramadan, we'll have a speaker every night and a topic every night. So make sure to tune in, inshallah, whether in person or virtually. And the Tahajjud will begin in a couple of minutes for 12 o'clock. And there will be a second Tahajjud at 3 o'clock, and that will end around 4. And there will also be suhoor before Fajr. Jazakumullah khair.
Allah